Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jerry Hall, and here's the view from Costa Rica. It is an incredible day in the crypto market to be a buyer for two reasons. One, the prices are low relative to the actual value for several major protocols that are in the marketplace. XRP, I believe, is one of those. There is an incredible world of value transmission that's happening every day, regardless of pandemics, regardless of political turmoil, and that is the movement of currencies. They call it the FX markets. Now, I want to draw your attention to this video from Modern Wall Street Roundtable. Obviously, many of you are going to recognize Jim Rickards right off the bat, although we're not going to focus on Jim in this video. No, not at all. To the far left, you'll see Douglas Borthwick. Little history on Douglas. 25+ year pro in FX markets. Came out of college right into the field, made a career in the FX markets. This guy knows FX markets inside and out. Side note, I had the good fortune of doing approximately an hour-long interview with Douglas, which I will put the link to that interview in the description of this video if you cared to go see it. It was an hour well spent for me. Douglas is very intelligent and very pragmatic, about the state of things. Very good insight from a long-time pro in that field, but I digress. Let's move on to what this clip is all about. So you have Douglas Borthwick talking to these gold bugs about gold. Jim Rickards obviously loves gold. The gentleman directly to Jim Rickards' left, far right of the screen, mega gold bull, anti-Bitcoin, all that stuff. We know Jim Rickards is anti-Bitcoin. All that's fine and dandy. Words do mean something. So pay attention. I'm going to roll this clip. It's a little over a minute long, where Doug is going to talk about the real value proposition of XRP as it pertains to currencies is its ability to settle so quickly, and the fact that Ripple is working with regulators. Keep in mind, anybody who is on RippleNet meets all the international banking regulations as it pertains to AML, KYC, CML, all the acronyms that the regulators need and believe are important. And after Doug presents his concept, this gentleman to the far right, it is so amazing. He completely concedes that all of that is true. However, and he goes right into his kind of anti-Bitcoin rhetoric. But the fact that he sees and understands, like a gold bug, right? A dyed-in-the-wool gold bug says, okay, I'll give that to Ripple. I'll give that to XRP. I get it. But let's get back to the Bitcoin bashing. I just found that incredibly humorous. So enjoy this clip. I think it really illustrates a point of where this industry is going. And then we're going to get onto some other stuff that really substantiates the infrastructure elements of exactly this topic. So, roll film.
Going to cost you 10 minutes.
Exactly. But there are some cryptos that are working with regulators and are working with banks.
I agree.
Ripple would be an example.
Ripple would be an
XRP.
example, right?
And this is and I can imagine in the next 5 years, instead of us doing sterling against the dollar or sterling against yen and doing these kinds of transactions, we'll do sterling versus Ripple. And the reason being, dollar right now is a 2-day settlement. With something like Ripple, you could do settlement in seconds. And I think that there's a future there where the guy that's trading spot FX today will be trading spot FX against Ripple in the future, in the next 2 or 3 years. So I think that Ripple has a great future because it's right now supported by all the banks and by all the regulators.
And it has an elastic monetary base.
So
Well,
if we take that and you go to the blockchain ledger, if you take that concept that you're discussing, I have no problem with it. I agree with it. But you're talking about money. You're talking about transaction, medium of exchange. There has to be something behind it, and that's.
He can't help himself. Let's get right into the Bitcoin bashing. But anyway, the takeaway for me when I saw this video was that there are markets in need of a settlement device, and those markets are trillions of dollars a day. Now, keep in mind, this was aired September 21st, 2018. Doug talked about a 5-year window and even said within 2 or 3 years. Well, you know what's interesting is when you have a theory, and when that theory actually starts to become reality. I want to take a quick peek over here in Twitter world. Anders Ludberg, we knew him as XRP Neo, XRP Anderson. He had this tweet with a graphic, and I really enjoyed this. He said, just by ODL going live in 2 more currencies, the Japanese yen and the Great British Pound, they could target 74% of the FX market. Well, obviously, if you have the euro, the US dollar, the Japanese yen, and the Great British Pound, you've got literally 83% of the FX market. Throw in the Chinese yuan or renminbi, and you've got a stranglehold on that whole enchilada. I'm going to enlarge this graphic. Let's bring this graphic up here. This liquidity representation of the currency pairs is important to understand. But it's very similar to any type of order book you would be looking at if you were looking at an exchange. FX markets are no different than a crypto. So if you go to Binance or Coinbase Pro or any of these exchanges and you look at the order books for the different pairings and you see the buys and sells and all that stuff happening, that's wonderful. Keep in mind there's an element here when we're talking about members of RippleNet. It's called Ripple Home. It's their customer friendly, and sorry I don't have a graphic for that for you right now. I looked for it and couldn't find it. I'm sure it's out there. But this Ripple Home allows customers to create relationships with other members on RippleNet on their own, get all kinds of data up front, and initiate a relationship. And if that relationship happens, then they're able to conduct business with that entity. Well, it's not just the banks and FIs that are on RippleNet. You have to remember that all of the partner exchanges are also on RippleNet. So Bitstamp, CoinsPH, BTC Markets, Bitso, and I'm sure there are a few others that I've omitted. The point is that those exchanges can do the same thing as the FIs. If they've got a customer for their exchange that wants to do something in a corridor that some other RippleNet exchange partner has going on, it is as simple as initiating the relationship through reaching out through this Ripple Home element of RippleNet, establishing the relationship. I'm assuming it's something very simple, establishing a trust line and initiating their business. This is absolutely phenomenal. But where does the actual FX market come into this, Jerry? Well, that's a very good point. Let's get right to that. Japanese cryptocurrency exchange, FXcoin, to test remittances with XRP. We've all heard this. This is all wonderful. Japanese cryptocurrency exchange. Okay, that's our Japanese yen, right? That's our Japanese yen. And yet another cryptocurrency exchange is coming on board. Okay, that's great. And they're going to do remittances. Okay, that's great. Right? Any of us that have followed this space knows how well Bitso has done, including remittances into their exchange business. Quick side note, if you don't know, a majority, and that means over 50% of Bitso's business is in the XRP ODL corridor with the US dollar. It has become the largest part of Bitso's business. Bitso will not be alone in this. You will see as this space matures and these verticals like FX, like digital asset trading, begin to go to work, the remittance element will be smaller and smaller. Even though I believe that segment of the business will grow, in proportionate to these other markets, it is going to be huge. Absolutely monstrous, but I digress. I wanted to go down and I really wanted to focus on this quote from senior strategist Yasu Matsuda about FXcoin's future plans. Until now, crypto assets have been used mainly for speculative purposes due to the magnitude of price movements. But in order to demonstrate the inherent superiority of crypto assets that enable quick money transfer and settlement at low cost, hedging price movements in order to establish the swap market and expand the usage for the purpose of actual demand. In order to do so, we will proceed with the demonstration experiment of domestic remittance and overseas remittance through XRP. And finally, key point, and finally, global cash management, corporate finance, and trade. We would like to expand the range of applications to fields such as finance. This is the great white whale. We XRP holders are like, you know, Captain Ahab in search of that friggin' great white whale. The FX markets are monstrous and they're ripe for this type of device. The secret sauce being settlement. Keep in mind, I did a video a couple days back about the XRP loan program. Well, FX traders or businesses trading currencies who have their money tied up in 2-day settlement situations are no different than the banks with their Nostra Vostra accounts. Their capital is tied up. How much of that capital can they free up to utilize and deploy this incredible digital asset? Well, probably currently, right now, not much. But what if a solution to that capital restriction were put into place? What if these FX traders and businesses were able to borrow the XRP at a very low rate, deploy it? Their settlement would happen so quickly, they would have the ability to pay back their loan almost instantly. They could just have credit lines, just credit lines. They could manage their entire FX business off a credit line with Ripple as it pertains to the XRP. Now, because XRP would need to do a complete 360-degree radius to get back to repay the loan, you've got volume, it's almost unquantifiable. This is an element of the industry we must follow very quick, very, very intently. This has the potential to explode. Now, keep in mind, this FXcoin, its entire leadership team are coming from FX market guys from banks like Deutsche, Tushumi Matahuchi. No, that's not a real name for a bank, but I can't pronounce it. But we've got some heavy hitters from the FX markets entering this space using XRP in remittances today, but with plans to infiltrate the FX markets and the other trade markets with this product. This cannot be understated. Keep your eyes on this. This is what we should be looking for, rejoicing. And when you go back to where the markets are today, right now, if you are a buyer, you have got to be smiling. Anyway, folks, that's enough from me. I'm excited. I think you can hear it in my voice. The puzzle pieces are coming together. And the dream that I had as a speculator in February of 2018, I'm seeing the infrastructure for that dream materialize on a weekly basis. This is an incredible time to be in this space. The key question is going to be the time horizon. When will we start to see the actual price increase? I believe it will be after the actual utility increases. Until then, it's a speculator's game, and we're just part of it. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank all the new subscribers that have been subscribing to the channel. I do want to ask something of you all. If you could share this, tweet it out, put it on Facebook. I would love to get up over 1,000 subscribers. I would love to be able to monetize the channel. Many of you who know me know I live on $350 a month down here in Costa Rica. And if I could generate $100, $150 a month from a YouTube channel, I would be tickled. However, I will continue to make these videos. I will continue to be an XRP bull and bring you my insights regardless of any of those things. Folks, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. You have many choices. And until next time, Pura Vida.